Hi, everybody. Sorry for coming on so late. Jeez. Because, things are happening in the background. Things are happening with this case. And let's see if I'm on. Everything, yep, everything looks okay. I can hear. Every day things are happening. And, you have to lay a foundation in order. You have to put in the work. And I like to garden, and I know gardening is so hard. Maybe that's why I like it, but it really is difficult. Maybe some people have green thumbs and it comes very easy to them, but gardening is very difficult and takes a lot of work. And everyone that gardens knows that the soil is so important, the foundation of it all. And so, if we're going to move forward in getting Richard's remains, which we really have a very good, it's looking very positive. It's looking positive, and get accountability. I don't want to be a Pam Bondi. I mean, I don't want to be. I'm not against her at all. I just think that there's some mistakes. Um, I want to say we have absolutely an opportunity here because of all the information that's coming out because of the Trump administration of getting Richard's remains. And that is our goal, and to get accountability. And so there is a lot going on in Washington, D.C., because what's going on is so big. It's just so big. The whole Jeffrey Epstein um, tapes, the auto pen, the laptop from hell, the even the Wiener laptop, right? And this is all criminal trafficking. Uh, I want to say human trafficking, but it's child trafficking, and it's even worse. It's just all criminal trafficking and control, compromise and control, blackmail, so that they can do the criminal trafficking, the other criminal trafficking, and the contracts, and the grand theft larceny, right? So you've got to compromise um, the leadership, and important people in important positions, so that you can uh, conduct your criminal network with impunity, with the grand theft larceny, and not have to worry about being indicted, not have to worry about any kind of accountability. That's what this whole Epstein Island was about, how the Zorro Ranch, all of his properties. Zorro Ranch is stone throw away from Fort Bliss, and also very close to Kirkland Air Base. Um, and Zorro Ranch had its own airstrip, right? And it's out there in the middle of nowhere, right? Well, I wouldn't say middle of nowhere. It's a very interesting area. New Mexico is so interesting anyway. Um, the land is so interesting. Looking on Google Earth to find Epstein, well, it's been sold now. Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch has been sold now. But to look at it, and they're destroying the circular pattern garden that it had. Which is very interesting. His uh, it, to me, he is revealing that they have knowledge that they're keeping from the people, just by his architecture and his gardens. Those are, to me, indications that he and his group of elites that are up to no good are keeping information from the people, keeping very important information from the people. And so let's start today. 1807, is it? Oh, geez. I should have. Oh, eight. Day 1808 days since Richard was forcibly removed from the barracks room there on Fort Bliss, and his life was taken from him. And Leilani Hart in January of 2021 says it was a code red, and she wrote a report about that Richard's case is a code red implicating his chain of command, which was her son. Her son was Richard's platoon leader, and that's been confirmed by multiple sources. Multiple sources. We're very confident with that. Um, and why are these individuals that are up to no good and have records? Why are they being protected? Because they have information in the criminal trafficking, the child trafficking. This is what connects Jeffrey Epstein with Richard's case is the child trafficking, right? Um, and Richard reported multiple times to the Child Protective Services, multiple times. And so it just tells you that they have individuals inside the Child Protective Services that allows these terrible crimes to be committed, torture even, against children. And of course, they film it, which is torture. And this is being allowed with impunity, with impunity, and protecting because both, well, for sure, Leilani Hart has to be arrested, right? I mean, she implicated her son in Richard's uh, loss of life as a code red, and also in the worst type of crimes against children, and the worst type of crimes with his brother and the father. I mean, the worst type of crimes, and those were very intimate crimes that were absolutely illegal. And to do that as a soldier in the military, as an officer in the military, um, that is just criminal. So she absolutely has to be arrested, and she is caught in this lie because now, ever since the declaration of death, she comes out and says she doesn't even know who Richard Halliday is. But she absolutely does because she wrote in January 2021, I think it was January 8th, 2021. I wrote it down here on the paper. Um, that she believed that Richard Halliday was a code red, and and implicated her son in our son's loss of life as the prime suspect, and she's a prime suspect also. It goes to because I talked to Dallas Hart, and he called Tavita Nusa Travis. He said he didn't know who Travis was, and he was absolutely lying to us, because he absolutely knows who Tavita Noose is. He absolutely, you cannot be a platoon leader on Fort Bliss and be implicated by your own mother in a code red, um, and have the arms room being totally renovated, everything surrounding Richard, and then not knowing who CID is, your own cousin and CID. No, that's all right. And all of his family, because we have the records where they absolutely know because of his football and at New Mexico University. Yeah, so, they're both liars, and that tells you that they are scared. to say the truth. And that means that they're that the implications, that the accusations hold weight, don't they? They hold a lot of weight. So it is a really late night. Um, uh, but all this information is coming out to lay that foundation, fertilize that soil, till the soil. You know, when you till soil, year after year, it just gets better and better when you fertilize it and treat it so good. It becomes really easy to plant, and the plants thrive. And so for our case, moving forward, it, we have absolutely tilled the soil. We have absolutely added the fertilizer. You can call the fertilizer all of our evidence. We have so much evidence. The investigation, right? The investigation, the putting together of all of the pieces, and to understand what's going on with the Epstein case. Um, is because of our investigation, because you know there's so many that are reaching out to us that are really confused and a little panicked because of what's going on with the Epstein files and the Jeffrey Epstein case. And you know, we're saying, hold on, be patient, because President Trump doesn't even have his team in place. That, you know, he's fighting the Senate to still get his team in place. And so you know, you can't um, react the way the people want you to react to the release of the information of the Epstein files if you don't have your team in place. And so you know, so really you should be yelling at the Senate to confirm all of President Trump's administration. So once his administration is in place, then he can have mostly, you know, there's always some people that are kind of undercover traders, right? And we know that. We know that there's mutiny within the system, that there are traitors within the system, that there are those that commit treason that are in the system. And a lot of them are right there at the Pentagon. Um, and so, you know, President Trump needs to get his people in place, and then they can release the information, and all, you know, all of this diverting attention. You know, look, you have Pam Bondi saying there were tens of thousands of the worst type of videos of children, of the worst type of crimes committed against children, that they had, that were in regards to the Epstein files. You have her admitting that. And then, you know, but all of this is so explosive. And, and if you don't have the administration, the foundation prepared for this kind of explosive information, criminal information. If you have someone in the prosecuting office like Bill Hicks, I mean, of course we have Pam Bondi, but in Texas they still have Mr. 2028 Snap Montoya. So if the Epstein files, because his ranch, the Zorro Ranch, so close to Fort Bliss, and we know that Fort Bliss and El Paso is absolutely implicated in this criminal trafficking. In this same business that Jeffrey Epstein was, you know, is implicated in doing also. And it is not a coincidence that he would have a big Zorro ranch right there near Fort Bliss and Kirkland Air Base. It is absolutely confirmed that generals, they have planes, right? So they could just fly right there because it has a landing strip. But Kirkland Air Base is right there. Uh, that that the generals are up to no good. We know that, right? So it is connected. The criminal trafficking, the child trafficking, the filming of that to exploit and compromise individuals. And some individuals agree to be compromised, you see, because they get quid pro quo. If you're compromised, and then we're going to support you for mayor, or we're going to support you for governor, or we're going to support you for a representative, or we're going to support your business, or we're going to give you contracts, right? Juicy contracts, or we're going to somehow, some way give you a quid pro quo for being compromised, right? Because by you being compromised, then they can do their criminal trafficking with impunity. And that's why we see the problems that we have today with such a lack of accountability, because there's so many that are compromised. But I'm going to tell you someone that wasn't, and that was Richard. Richard refused to be compromised by the Fort Bliss Jeffrey Epstein playbook. He refused to be compromised, and he frustrated the likes of Boleyn, right, who tried to compromise him, because we know that they were bringing in these young underage girls to the soldiers to compromise them, to film it, to film whatever happened at these parties. And of course, illegal substances were at play, and all of the alcohol was at play. And we see that the mode for retaliation is one of these things, right? Either showing them a film and threatening them, or threatening them with uh, maybe like an unlawful arrest, right? An unlawful arrest for a non-crime, or or throwing the book at them when they do commit crimes, because we were hearing when we were there that so many were getting caught in all of these crimes, and the ones that were readily compromised and part of the criminal trafficking network, nothing was done to them. Nothing was done to them. So they got immunity from their criminal activity. So, absolutely, they were bringing girls into the barracks to compromise our soldiers. Now, how are we going to win wars when we have compromised soldiers, right? And this is a huge breach in national security at Fort Bliss. Absolutely a huge breach. And right there on the border, right there on the Mexico border, because that's what El Paso is known for its trafficking, um, which that has to change. That has to change. You can't be proud of being known for criminal trafficking, and that's what's absolutely being reported to us. So you have a lot of empty buildings right downtown for in El Paso, and they're empty. They're empty. Why? We need a lawful um, economy, not an economy built on criminal trafficking. So there is this very real connection between the Jeffrey Epstein playbook and Fort Bliss, and of course, Zorro Ranch. Of course, that's been sold now. But there is just so much in common, and absolutely they were in connection uh, with Fort Bliss, with Kirkland Air Base. There's no doubt in my mind from all the evidence that we have. And then, of course, with Lilani Hart getting amnesia, right? Amnesia in April of 2024 when Richard was declared deceased. because of overwhelming evidence. She got a little amnesia. She forgot about the reports that she was writing in January of 2021, and went into this like, oh, I've never heard of Richard Halliday and the code red, and my son being implicated as Richard's platoon leader. And then her friend, Daisha Gonzalez, confirms that Richard was dismembered, right? Talking about, I guess, the when we had the medium, right? The on that was saying that Richard's torso is in the arms room buried, and his head is in this desert area, and the autopsies that we have confirmed dismemberment, um eh, and a lot of other things. um so it is it is really interesting that this same playbook to compromise, to blackmail, is being used. And it just confirms that the higher ups are absolutely involved in this, and that the intake center, it's big business, and they built a 10,000 bed emergency intake center for migrant trafficking. And many of them, we don't even know where they're at, um, don't know at all. And not because of, oh, we have to check or whatever. No, because the worst is thought about where they ended up, because it was just dropping them off at strip joints and at empty lots where there are storage units for shipping storage units. So these are the reports coming out. They were absolutely um, trafficking children, and we have to stand up to that. We can't. No society, no country can stand when you're so derelict, right? When you're so derelict. So, yes, we are really grateful for all the help that we've been getting, and all the new news coming in. And we will be back tomorrow, God willing, to uh, explain all the other information that came in today. It's um, it's just breaking news. It's just breaking news. So thank you so much. God bless.